Is that the big ass bag?
Huh?
Is that the bag?
That's one of the big bags.
Yeah,
One's,
there's
right there.
another one.
Oh, that's the one
Another
that.
one. Yeah.
Oh, y'all just trying to have us move heavy bags like shitloads of heavy bags.
I don't know. I just found a job I could do sitting down and did it.
Listen, you're the intelligent one. Yo, can I get a hand with this heavy bag? Come on, let's find them. We are Lenny and Tamika Caston Miller, building a collaborative space for farming, collaborative gardening, yoga, and art. Follow our journey to see how we do all of this on a shoestring. So hey guys, Tamika here, just showing where we are in our process, and where we are is kind of nowhere because we had to stop what we were doing because we had rain like every other day and then a couple of days in a row. And so in the last time we tried doing things in the rain, we like really destroyed the land. And actually one of the things that we have to do is we need to do a little light tilling to level the land. So driving the tractor around while the ground is wet is not going to help. I am just looking into some of the things that have started growing again since we took them out. So of course we've got mint that is just like, what do you mean you took out you harvested some things? We're still going to do what we're going to do. And I'm like, yeah, okay, mint, I appreciate your resilience, but that's actually not the plan right now. You know what I'm saying? We have something growing right here, and it actually, to me, this looks like, that looks like a zinnia. So I think I might double check that is a zinnia. And if so, I might just transplant it because I'm here for some zinnia love. It's either a zinnia or might even be some really hardy arugula. And then I see some morning glory starting to grow. It really doesn't matter what's growing because after we level the land and then we put the silage tarp on, it's all gonna die. One of the wonderful things about starting a project and not finishing it is you get to see what got left in the soil. So I see some bulbs that are still there that we need to actually get up. And it looks like we may have gotten all the other bulbs out, so that's good. This used to be our herb bed, and I really love this herb bed. It was the very first thing that we really put in. It was also the first thing that we did wrong. So we didn't put cardboard underneath this herb bed, and so we struggled with grasses and all that stuff the entire time. We also tried to do gabion boxes, but gabion boxes are these cool ways of making like essentially a fence, but with rocks, and we didn't do them right because we didn't have the right type of metal. You actually need like a really strong graded cattle guard to do it. So when we put them together, they bowed out. And so if you are going to do that, know that number one is quite expensive because these rocks are not cheap. Number two, you need a cattle guard. The other thing, though, that I'm seeing is just like all of this amazing bull rock that we do still have. And so what we're going to effectively do, we have to do it effectively because this is hundreds of dollars, is we're going to pull up the rock and we are going to attempt to create a sifting mechanism to where we can pull up any of the rock that we place down, because guess what? There's actually more rock, landscape rock, that's over in our west garden, and I'll show you what that looks like right now. Yeah, so that's our west garden. I mean, essentially it's, our storage area. So here's the thing. We tried with this west garden was such a big deal. We had all these friends come over. They all helped us. And it was this awesome way. We were like, I've got this great idea. Y'all, family, friends, anybody, listen, come out and come visit us. Come see us. You're not doing anything. It's 2020, right? And bring us all of your plastic. We know that this plastic is not getting recycled in our city. Like literally nothing was getting recycled. It was such a mess. And I was like, listen, we'll recycle it. So what we did is we took all of these grocery bags and we sewed them together and we created landscape fabric with them, which sounds like an amazing idea, right? So we were like, okay, we're going to do this and la, la, la. We're going to create this landscape fabric. We're going to lay it down and we're going to take all of this plastic out of landfills and all that and out of the trash because, again, we knew. We were like, recycling is not their priority right now, they being the city. So, great idea, right? Well, here's what happened. Put the landscape fabric down. It's white, y'all. So landscape fabric is black for a reason, okay? Or it's like that thick white material that's almost like felt. So what ended up happening is that like literally 2 months later, or maybe a month later, grasses started growing through the dam. Our experiment. So we had we had plastic down for the landscape fabric. We had sand down, and then we put rocks on top of it, all thinking that would work. The record reflected it did not. It was hot. It was the middle of the summer. And so, yeah, grass ended up growing everywhere, and it ended up being a failed experiment. Also, now we have all this plastic in our land. But as I mentioned, this was like a really special place for us because it was our first like really successful project. And by successful, I mean it was successful in that we had a large group out to help and that we were able to really make a difference in soil. So when we first moved in here, there were little mini barns and cattle areas and all that, which is really great and fine and all of that. But the problem was that there was no land stewardship. Like the land was terrible. It was all compacted. It was really just like a space to be trod upon by the cattle. And it was terrible. Like we couldn't even get potatoes to grow in the ground. And so we did a lot of work amending the soil. We did till. We had to break up the soil. It was ridiculous, like compacted clay. There was some great manure, some great some really mature manure, decomposed manure that we were able to salvage. But it was awful. And to that end, this was one of the most aspirational places because we were actually able to take this land that no one was thinking about for food and able to turn it into something in which we could grow. It was a huge deal. Our friends came out. There were like 20 people who came out. They put all of this landscape rock down so that we could create these beautiful beds after we'd done all of this work to mend the soil. And it was beautiful. When we first saw earthworms in those beds, it was like, wow, this is what happens when you actually, care about the land, is the land will give. And the land did give. We had squash there. We had zucchini. We've had pumpkins. We had an epic Malabar spinach patch that just did amazingly and was really a first cash crop for us because it did so well. And it's so tasty, like a buttery spinach. Oh my gosh, so good. And so, we were able to do those things and it was amazing. And then, but because of just weeds and all of that, and because of having to focus in a different area, we ended up just using that space right now just for dumping and things like that. Especially because we, fortunately were gifted some some items like some leaves and tree stuff, tree debris and things like that. And we had all these, 36 foot long, 2 foot high beds that we needed to fill a foot of stuff with. So of hugelkultur. And so it was really, really helpful to have all those things, but where do you put it while you're waiting? So anyway, so we still have those things. We were gifted some pavers, which has been amazing. We were gifted some wood slabs, which has been amazing. So anyway, it's just kind of become this little place to place things, and that's not really working. Okay, so the plan now is to... Okay, this is the plan. You ready? All right, so the plan. I've been trying to figure out how the hell do I hurry up and get this land like evened out and all of that in the main area where the main flower farm is going. Then we go to a wedding and we see this amazing at a winery, and we're like, oh my gosh. And so I was like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, oh my gosh, look, let's double it. Let's double the whole size. We're gonna put flower farm on this side, we're gonna put it on that side. It's gonna be set up almost like it would be a winery, which is great because I am literally married to someone from the wine country. So it makes sense that we would set this up in this way. Plus it's gonna be gorgeous. So what's gonna end up happening is there's gonna be flower farm on the right and on the left, which means that we've got to get the West Garden together. We got to. And how the hell do we get this silage tarp down? Like, how do we maximize the rest of our warm weather? This is Houston. It's November and literally the AC's on. So we have a little bit of time to get the silage tarp down while the sun is still out. And I've just been like frustrated, but this is what we're going to do. We are going to take our time leveling the side. That was the original thought for the farm. And what we're going to end up doing is we are going to start working the other side, which I've now decided is also going to be farm. So we're just going to move everything over to the left. So in order to prep things, all I have to do is move stuff out of the way. That I can do. Move things out of the way and then let things not be perfect. I'm super good at that. I'm super good at things not being perfect and just, working with what we have. So that's what we're going to do. Y'all, this is farming on the cheap, okay? So there are people who do things really expensively, beautifully and all that stuff. We're not those people. We are not those people. If you're trying to do farming on the cheap, follow, subscribe, because that's what we're going to be doing. We are going to reuse, we're going to upcycle, we're going to fuck around and find out. Yep, that's where we are. That's it.